Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Like, and I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, wherever you're joining me from, and I hope you're in the mood to see some comic books. I was out this weekend at the Capital Comic Book Convention run by Rob Zedek over at Miss Legends Heroes here in Ottawa on Bank Street, and I made some purchases that I wanted to share with everybody today. First, though, I'm going to make a couple shout-outs. Okay, shout out to Ricky at All Sorts of Words. He had a contest recently when he was doing his Addams Family's videos, which he's a big fan of, where he was giving away a New Yorker, and I happened to be the winner. This New Yorker is from June 26, 1954, and it features a comic starring Gomez and Wednesday Addams. It's a nice comic. It's in a pretty decent shape. And I appreciate being the one that won it. Thank you very much, Ricky. My next shout out is to the immortal Biggie Shack. He's been a friend of the channel since day one. He has been very nice to me. And he's had me on his channel a couple times to participate in his collectors club, which I'm very grateful for. So I suggest everybody go down to the immortal Biggie Shack and give him a follow and a like. He's a pretty nice guy. And the last shout out I want to make today is Brian, who's also known as Big B McFly, the comic guy. He's out of Portland, Oregon. He's a guy who deals with comics, and he also is good at finding comics if you're looking for certain issues, especially in the Silver and Golden Age. And he's a really nice guy in general. So give him a follow and a look. Okay, Big B McFly, the comic guy. And now, without further ado, let's go to the acquisitions. Rule of acquisition number 1, always start with the Golden Age. The first 2 books I'm going to do, I actually didn't buy at the convention per se. I bought them off my friend Alan, who's the comic collector geek, who went to the show with me. And they're my first crime comics. They're both from the Golden Age. They're both from the same series by the name of Crime Smashers. This one is from 1951. It is issue 6. It stars the 4 features Sally the Sleuth, who Alan actually mentioned in his video the other day, Dan Turner, Girl Friday, and Ray Hale. All the features were very interesting, as I've actually read this, taken the time to read this and the other one. Issue 6 here. Note the girl in the red dress, as usual per Golden Age books. And here we have Crime Smashers number 8. Again, girl in the red dress. Yellow cover. Same 4 features. This book, the stories were actually slightly better than they were in the first one. However, this one had a little more damage than the than number 6. But still a very good copy. And I'm very happy to have both. The comic show featured a few artist guests as well. One of the gentlemen that was there was a guy by the name of Jack Briglio, who is the writer for a feature called Dominion Jack. In this book, a Canadian book called Exciting Comics. This is issue number 36. He had about 6 different issues for sale there. I picked this one up and I got him to sign it. Cost me $5 for the book and $5 for the autograph, but to me it's worth it. It's always nice to be able to help out the Canadian writers and artists, because in the greater North American context, they're not always seen as much as the Americans. Next up, the next 2 issues both have an artist that I'm sure a lot of you are becoming very familiar with, as he seems to be the latest thing. This here is Alien Worlds number 2. It's Pacific Comics, and if you haven't guessed, Dave Stevens is the cover artist. Ever since that movie or interview show of Dave Stevens came out a few months ago, he has been the absolute newest hot property, and all his books are going everywhere. Well, I got this one for $8. $8 for a Dave Stevens book. That is probably from very fine to near mint. I was very happy with it, and I hope you guys like Dave Stevens too. Here's my second issue, and the most money that I spent basically at the show on any one book. This here is Vanguard Illustrated 2, which is also Dave Stevens' cover. For this series, this was the only book that he did the cover on. And therefore, it is the only one that commands premium. I paid $50 Canadian for this. Generally speaking, I don't tend to spend that much on a single book, but we're talking about Dave Stevens. And for the next little while, all the books are going to be expensive. And I like the art myself. And I know a lot of you appreciate it as well. I managed to go to Dollar Bin, and here's a shout out to Doghouse Comics, who had the dollar bins where I got a whole bunch of Detective Comics, including Detective Comics 671, Detectives 673. For me, these are all run fillers. I'm a big person for that sort of thing. Detective 672, 633, and things are not going to always be in order here. I know that a lot of you do the same thing I do. You just pull up the pile and we go. So I like the chaos of that a little bit. There's so much order in my life, a little chaos doesn't hurt. So this is Detective 674. I particularly like this cover because it has two characters. I haven't read the book yet, so I don't know who the characters are. But these two characters look like they're really struggling. And that's the Azrael Batman. That's not, this was the period where Batman was, had his back broken, if you'll remember, most of you. And therefore had to hit replacement. Let's see, we've also got a couple more detectives here. Let's see, we've got Detective 668. And here's another one, a detective that I really like the cover to. This is Detective 634. It's a very dark cover, but the Batman in it is really, really nice. And you know he's ready for something. This, of course, is Bruce Wayne. Here is Detective 636. 628. 637. 689. And 669. This one in particular I like because it's a nice cover. You can tell that something's going on. You can tell that somebody's had some issues, and Azrael is coming in. And the key to remember in this era of Batman was that Azrael is not the same type of detective that Bruce is. And he's definitely more blunt. He's a more blunt instrument guy. Before we go any further, I would like to point out that I got the Vanguard issue from Chris at GRiz Comics. He is another friend of the channel, and he's a really good guy. And I recommend that if you're he's going to be in Niagara Falls shortly for the Niagara Falls Con. If you see him, give him a say hi, give him a shout, give him a say hi, say Matt says you're awesome, and try it and take a look what he's got. He specializes in the interesting and unusual. Couple more detectives for you. We're almost done those. This is 690. Batman. Bruce is back, and so is Tim Drake as Robin. No more Azrael. They finally got him to stop being. Here's Detective 670. Now, and I think this is the last of the detective. This is Detective 678. I haven't read it, but the cover intrigues me so much. I have a feeling it's another Batman is having a psychological breakdown due to the fact that he's missing his parents again kind of cover. Tells me that the story itself will probably have him. I don't know how many people out there would agree with me on this, but the Batman series, especially since the Bronze Age, has been very heavy on villains with a psychosis and the psychosis of Batman himself, which if you are into behavioral sciences or into that sort of thing, makes reading a Batman book even more interesting other than the surface part of here's a great detective novel and here's a cool story. I always find that element of Batman to be most satisfying at times because it adds to the books itself. And it's usually a sign that you've got a good writer on those Batman stories if you can feel the psychosis and the psychology behind it. The next two books are from Marvel. I got these in another dollar bin. Shout out to Big Belly Comics. He had the dollar bin that I bought these ones from. This is Iron Man 256, which features Iron Man in a great cover where he's taking off. I'd say about half the Iron Man covers are similar to this, but the thing is, it's always a good look. Next up, we have Iron Man 261. Iron Man's about to take off again, but this time he's got another Iron Man with him. This next book I bought off another friend of the channel, Dave Martin at Kaboom Comics. He used to be out of Carlton Place, but I understand he's moving. He has an absolute warehouse full of comics. He has got a lot of Silver Age, a bit of Golden Age, and a lot of Bronze Age and up. If you are into that sort of, he also carries a lot of stuff that it's been hard to find for other people. So, if you, I think he's a good guy. He's been a good guy in the local area, but also he's someone you can contact him on Facebook. He will send comics everywhere you want them from. So this will be the last comic for this part. This is Superboy 144. Apparently Superboy, before the internet came along, apparently Superboy had his identity stolen and was in a situation that he had to fix that by himself. Well, that was part one of what I got at the Comic-Con. And I spent way too much money. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Please like, subscribe, and comment down in the comments if there's any book you liked or any book you didn't like, or if there's any book you think I should have bought if you, or even to say hi. Well, we'll be back with part 2 in a couple of days. I hope in the meantime you enjoy yourselves because I like comics and I hope you do too.